Man, sometimes when you're from a state and you hear your political officials talk and brag about your state, you might have a tendency to go, are they just blowing smoke? On this issue about New York's leadership in offshore wind, it is the real deal. I mean, you should feel entirely proud of what Congressman Tonko was saying, a whole new sector that is being created in the United States that is starting here. Now, we do hope, Gov, that the rest of the country feels that sense of competition. The West Coast feels it, that we continue to drive the supply chain down the Atlantic coast as well. But it's starting here. So it's really exciting. Your leadership is so exciting. What you announced, the $500 million for offshore wind, that is huge for a state to do that. That is a commitment. Congressman Tonko, he is just, he's not only such a great and energetic speaker, but he's also an energetic member of Congress as an advocate for this region, but also for this new sector, building jobs in clean energy. He puts out, a bill a week on this area. And he's just been such a leader. Obviously, coming from NYSERDA, bringing that engineering experience and making sure that Congress wakes up to the job potential of this new sector. Thank you, Congressman, for your incredible leadership. And I want to acknowledge the mayor and the county executive, Mayor Sheehan and County Executive McCoy, because, it all starts locally, right? It all starts right here. So super exciting that you all are part of showing the rest of the country how we should be doing this. So thank you for that. And we can't do it, of course, without the private sector. So I do want to acknowledge Siri Kinman and the team from Equinor, and Felipe I'll just get this right, Arbelayas, did I get that right, from BP, and Patrick Pellerin from Marmon. We want we have to have the private sector step up, right? And it's that combination of the private sector and the government partnership and the partnership with labor that makes this all work. And so you've got the secret sauce, you've got all of the ingredients. We want to take this example and bring it across the country. I have to say that your senators, I know that they had representatives here who were speaking and they couldn't be here because they were trying to save the right to vote. It's no small matter. And they're on, well, I guess Senator Schumer made it back home, and I know as we speak, Senator Gillibrand's on a plane coming, and she and Congressman Tonko's office helped to plan this visit, so I regret that she is not here. But between Senator Gillibrand and Senator Schumer, and as the governor said, the fact that you have the Senate Majority Leader fighting for you, that Department of Transportation, 29.5 million is what it was, 29.5 million. Would not be here were it not for that incredible leadership and the fortune that you have having that representation. That obviously is a big boost to making the Port of Albany the leader in making sure that we're building wind turbines and that whole supply chain here. It's not just the towers, we want the whole thing, soup to nuts, built here. So to our friends in the private sector, we want to make sure that the rest of that supply chain is built out here as well. I was recently in Virginia, and they are putting the blades together for their offshore wind project. I was recently in the Port of Providence, and they were putting the base together as a piece of the supply chain. We're going to see some more base investments from these projects as well. We got to get what are known as the nacelles. Those are the big things that the blades stick into with a lot of technology. We want those built here as well. All of these, because of geography, have to be built close to where they are assembled. And so as Congressman Tonko said, this mighty, deep river is your strategic advantage, in addition to your senators and all of that. But geographically, geographically, you have what is known in economic development as a comparative advantage. And that you should definitely continue to exploit. And so for Richard Hendrick and the port staff here, what a moment to lead the nation in offshore wind. So I want to say a word about what the Biden administration's plans are with respect to offshore wind. So as of December, in the first year of President Biden's administration, 6.4 million jobs were created. And this president is all about jobs. But 6.4 million is the most jobs that any president in the history of the United States has overseen the creation of. That's huge. In the history of the country. So we want to see, this is the Port of Albany, the Port of Albany's role in this is, of course, you can see over the horizon, you can see this big facility that will be built, which will require construction workers and tradespeople. You can see the towers that will be built, which will require specialized manufacturing workers. You can see the longshoremen that will have to position and put them on the barges. You also have to know that the barges have to be built somewhere. Those are more jobs. You know, if you use this as a creation of a hub for turbine tower manufacturing for all of these projects along the East Coast, including the New York Bight, which was just announced, this port actually was I'm told, you can tell me, it was a Dutch trading outpost, right? It was used to move furs back in the day. So now, you know, the Dutch have always loved their windmills. So here we go, over 1,000 jobs that will be here, 500 in construction, 550 permanent jobs. And that $29.5 million investment from the administration with the partnership of Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand, that's just the start, I think, of that kind of investment that you will see here in partnership. So projects like this are critical to meeting the president's goal, which is announced, of putting 30 gigawatts of offshore wind onto our electric grid. So the Department of Energy, we released a report earlier this week that said in order to do that, there are 5 strategic priorities that we have to pursue as a nation. One is that we've got to increase demand for offshore wind through incentives. Those incentives are embedded, you know, the bipartisan infrastructure law happened, right? The incentives are embedded in the second piece, which is the Build Back Better agenda, which we are hoping that Congress will take up next week. So incentives. 2, the second priority is to accelerate the trend of falling costs of offshore wind through technology, through taking it to scale. We want to drop those costs, and they've already dropped 60% in the past 5 years. We want to get it to 5 to 6 cents a kilowatt hour. And the Department of Energy, we have 17 national labs. You've got one in Brookhaven. We are working on the materials and the technology to reduce the costs of those offshore wind turbines. Third priority is to improve siting. It can't take years and years and years to site the offshore wind. So that priority has to happen, right? Fourth, I know it's technical, but it's true. It's a barrier that we've got to knock down. The fourth is investing in the supply chain, as we're seeing right here, meaning manufacturing hubs like this. And the fifth is connecting wind projects to the electric grid. And Congressman Tonko spoke about this, but this is absolutely critical. So the Department of Energy this week launched our Building a Better Grid initiative, which tells the world what our strategy is going to be to ensure that we can bust through these kind of barriers and get a grid. You know, we've basically got to, if we want to get to 100% clean electricity in the United States by 2035, which is the president's goal, we basically have to double the size of our electric grid. So that means we've got to do an awful lot of siting. And that means an awful lot of jobs, by the way, for electric linemen and all of those. But the bottom line is we've got to have a grid that meets the moment. And so we are going to do that. So I see a gust of job growth from ports, manufacturing, to actually putting, wires, stringing the grid, burying potentially some transmission, some of it going up. The bottom line is there are jobs all over the country on this, and I give great credit to the congressman because we have been guided by your Clean Futures Act in putting that together. Another terrific example of his leadership. So the bipartisan infrastructure law, the Build Back Better agenda, we are going to do this, and we are going to get to that goal of 100% clean electricity, and we're going to keep working with Congressman Tonko and Senators Schumer and Gillibrand to make that happen. Just to close out, because I was the governor of Michigan, I love, you guys are here in this northern climate. It feels very much at home. Michigan is a hockey state as well. We are proud to be the home of the Red Wings, and Wayne Gretzky, a great Red Wings player, some of you are familiar with this quote, used to say that I skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is. And the whole purpose of that is to signal that in a moment of change, you have to think ahead and you have to move to where you see the opportunities. There is an old proverb that says that when the winds of change blow, some build walls, others build windmills. Thank you for seizing this opportunity, Port of Albany and State of New York.